Today's talk is on the Diamond Sutra, which is kind of a sister to the Heart Sutra. They are both the beginning of the Mahayana teaching, of the Mahayana portion of Buddhism's teaching, which some people call later teachings, some people call deeper teachings. The simplest description, it's the non-dual teachings, as opposed to a dual style teaching. So non-dual teachings include all the dual teachings, but the dual teachings don't necessarily include the non-dual teachings. But also not one higher or lower. Both are extraordinarily helpful for taking away suffering. Also in my tradition, we often say, we don't teach Buddhism. We only teach don't know. Now, for me, when I got into this practice, just trusting don't know was a little challenging. I wanted something I could hold on to or grab. And in Chinese medicine, they tend to think if you have a hot illness, they give you a hot medicine. If you have a cold illness, they give you a cold medicine. So I'm a typical Western person. I have what could be called a thinking illness or a thinking sickness. You know, a lot of thinking. Yeah? So a little bit of thinking medicine can help that thinking sickness come down, it's like taking away a fever. Then don't know can be a little clearer, and also life, etc., becomes clearer. So for me, when I heard these teachings about emptiness, I was baffled, which is a pretty reasonable reaction. And the Heart Sutra is sort of the complete teaching of emptiness. And I thought, oh, that's too overwhelming. Maybe I'll read the Diamond Sutra, and that'll be like a partial teaching. Well, that just made it worse. I thought it would make it better. So hang in there with me. I'm going to talk about parts of the Diamond Sutra and quote lines from it, and then try to knit it to our day-to-day experience and what things are like. So one of the very famous, so we have a story in Zen about this Zen master Sahn, and he was a Diamond Sutra master. And that was very important to him. And he trained as a monk for many years, teaching the Diamond Sutra, and he was really proud of it. And he lived in the north of China and had many, many monks as his students. Then he heard about monks in the southern part of China who were getting enlightenment just by sitting on the floor and looking at the wall. And he thought, that's crazy. They're not studying the Buddhist speech. They're not studying Buddhism. They're just looking at the wall and then getting enlightened. I'm going to go down south and teach them a lesson. So he sets off on a journey, and in those days, everything's by foot or by cart, especially if you're a monk. I mean, some monks were famous, but they were still poor, right? So he's carrying the Diamond Sutra with him in his rucksack, and he's going to teach them this thing. So he's going, I don't know, a couple hundred miles, takes a couple of months. And in the process, he passes a woman street vendor as he's getting closer to the monks in the south. And she sells food on the roadside to help people travel. Rice cakes. Some people translate the word for the rice cake as mind refresher, which is a little bit of a pun on the Diamond Sutra. So Sahn arrives, and he says, I'd like to get some rice cakes for lunch. She goes, yeah, sure. And she's getting them ready, and then she sees the sutra sticking out of his backpack. She goes, what's that sticking out of your backpack? He says, oh, that's the Diamond Sutra. And I happen to be a Diamond Sutra master. She goes, oh, that's wonderful. He's a little bit proud, right? And she goes, oh, so I have a question, since you're a Diamond Sutra master. And he goes, really? Okay, any kind of question. I can answer any kind of question. She says, in the Diamond Sutra it says, past mind does not exist. Also, future mind does not exist. And present mind, as soon as we say present, it becomes the past. So what kind of mind will you have lunch with? So he starts thinking about the entire sutra, every line he had memorized. This is nowhere in there. And first he's a little flushed, and then his face gets red, and then his face gets kind of dark. And then she says, you can't answer this simple question? Then how are you going to teach the monks in the South about the Diamond Sutra? So this typical Zen style, this is opposites thinking for sure. So she has some insight. She's awake. She has some insight into the Diamond Sutra. But this sutra master, even though he understood all of the Buddha's speech, he didn't understand the Buddha's mind. And had he been rooted in the present moment and clear, there's a very simple answer which would have made the woman very, very happy. There's a very simple answer to her challenge. And someday if you have an interview, the teacher can check maybe what your answer is. So this is pointing to, the Diamond Sutra is telling us about mind, and one of its early lines is, all illusion, all appearances are delusion. All appearance is delusion. If you view all appearance as non-appearance, that view is your true nature. So I'll repeat it, it's a little dense. For me, this was quite important. I kept wanting to hear my teachers say what true nature was. And then here was this text. So, okay, let's look at this. So the first is, all appearances are delusion. So don't believe what you see, is kind of what they're saying. Don't attach to what you see. Then the second line, if you view all appearance as non-appearance, that view is your true nature. So a typical story the Buddha would tell to make these points, I'm going to make a couple of points. If a farmer is in the bright daylight and he opens up the barn door, he walks in the door, and in the shadows of the barn he sees a coiled snake. Immediately, adrenaline, caution, he's watching the snake. But then as his eyes adjust to the darkness in the barn, it's just a coil of rope. So all the time we're perceiving, people practicing together, I'm perceiving the screen. If I attach to those perceptions, then they become a delusion. If I don't attach to the perceptions, then my interaction, my experience with them is capable of being clear. Because we're not covering our perceptions with thinking. In the example of the farmer, his immediate perceptions are covered by the idea of a snake. So he doesn't see the rope. But then gradually his eyes get better. Gradually he looks more closely. Now it's just only rope. But from the sutra's point of view, also the rope is an illusion. Now, why is Buddha telling us this is illusory? Mainly because it's impermanent. There was a moment the rope didn't exist before it was created, before it was fabricated. Then someone made the rope. It's here, it's useful, it's there in the barn. And then eventually the rope rots, falls apart, turns into dust, and disappears. So the rope is fundamentally impermanent. It's here for a moment, but it is impermanent. It lacks a self-identity. And then if we look deeply at the rope it's made out of non-rope things. Because now we have this concept of rope, and then we have, oh, maybe it's made out of hemp. And so the hemp was grown in a field, and the field had soil and water to support it. So now inside this rope, there's a field, there's soil, there's moisture, sunshine. For the hemp to appear, to become the rope, all of these non-hemp things appeared. Yeah, sunshine, air, time, this idea of time. So all of these things keep changing. If we think this is a philosophical view, we're mistaken. That's a mistake. It's actually our experience. And the Buddha's insight is, oh, everything is like this. And by not seeing into this, we suffer. And by attaching to the appearance of things being the same, we suffer. And often life will hit us with some dramatic change. And of course, we grieve the loss, we grieve the suffering. We have a car crash, we grieve the loss of our car. Yeah? Hopefully no one gets hurt. But that's just changing. So things changing doesn't cause us the suffering, it's our attachment to the thing that's changing. So those examples are all on the outside. Now we tend to make outside and inside. So on the inside, let's look at our emotions or our thoughts or our ideas or our feelings. Those are real, they are true, and they are also constantly changing. They become impermanent. So I might notice a characteristic in my heart and mind, oh, I'm impatient. I'm experiencing impatience. So then I make this idea, I am impatient. So this I is illusional. I've just created it and identified it with impatience. Now I have an identity and I've made it impatient. And then I am impatient. Can't get to work on time, or when I get there, not everybody's working fast enough, the deadlines aren't getting hit, etc., etc. But then I might go to work one day and not be impatient. Oh, everything's arriving on time. Oh, we're ahead in this. Oh, deadlines are met. So no impatience appears. The Buddha is telling us causes and conditions create everything, and everything keeps changing. And the sooner we dial into that, the less suffering we have. So if we can accept things as they are, constantly changing, then we suffer less, and our capacity to act with love and compassion in the world and understanding is greater because we're not suffering. And then we may have impulses and aspirations and careers and goals. Those are all wonderful. The Buddha's not suggesting that our thinking and feeling and our lives are not important. He's just saying they're empty of any self-nature. So if we may identify as a man or a woman, we may identify as gay or straight, we may identify as trans, we may identify as artists, singers, painters, bankers, businessmen, parent. All of those things, of course, we identify with them, and they have a function, because each of us has a unique contribution to make as a human being. So there's this, the joke is on us, there's this unique identity that we are using to help this world, and if we attach to it, we suffer, but if we don't attach to it, we can become skillful. So there's a kind of welcoming in and in a cultivation of intimacy, that's our practice. What is this? What is this? And then our identity doesn't control us. We're able to see into it, see that it's in a constant state of change, see that it has no self-nature, and then we can use it. Oh, today I need to be an artist. Oh, today I need to be a parent. Oh, today I need to be a son or a daughter. Whatever the causes and conditions are appearing, we're able to be that. And we can begin to trust something in ourselves that does not change. So back to this wonderful teaching from the Buddha. If you see all appearance as non-appearance, if you view all appearance as non-appearance, that view is your true nature. So everybody's been listening to this talk. That's a perception. That's the experience of that perception is your true nature. Could you hear that? Could you see that? Yes. So that's real and unchanging. Now, if we attach to our eyes or our bodies or our ears, we think, oh, but, you know, if I got shot in the head or had an aneurysm, I wouldn't have heard that clap. I wouldn't have seen that clap. Yeah, you would not have. Causes and conditions would have changed. But we don't attach to eyes, ears, nose, tongue. We don't attach to the experience of the body. We can trust the experience. So the practice is noticing we've attached and then relaxing and letting go. But then always noticing. So thinking appears, like I have tons of thinking. And if I identify with the thinking or attach to the thinking, then I start to suffer. But if we keep some space around the thinking and the feeling, then the thinking is true, as well as the world we live in. We live in a truth world. You know, the sun is starting to go down. That's true. There are people on the video. That's true. You guys are here. That's true. The robe is gray. No, you can't actually show me something that's not true. It can't be done. Now, that truth is in a constant state of change, but that's where our true nature and the conditioned nature, the things that are always changing, completely interpenetrate. There's this word interpenetrate, there's also this word interdependent, and there's this phrase co-arising, coming together, co-arising together. All those three are pointing to the same quality of being alive. You know, when I talk to my daughter on the phone, many, many things arise. You know, joy, love, curiosity, fear, nervousness, expectations, all kinds of things, yeah? Then when that conversation is over, those things all disappear. Maybe I cling to them, like I'm driving home after the phone call or after the lunch and go, oh, it was nice doing this, nice doing that. Now I'm kind of existing in the past. Also, I might drive by my exit because I'm thinking about the visit. See, so the mind makes the world, and if we attach to that thinking, like ruminating about my daughter, then I don't see my exit. And so I'm not clear in that moment. So in Zen, it's not about judging this activity. No judgment is involved. It's about noticing the activity of our mind and then not doing it, like not attaching. So don't know, or am I sure, or the question, how is it right now? Those three things are also three ways of making the same point. We have thinking, and then it helps us cut our attachment to the thinking. The thinking's still there, but now we're not ruminating, and now we're not following it. And in that clarity, we're able to see the truth. of the world we're in, we're able to see our relationship to it. So in one case, I'm talking to my daughter, so there's only one person that is in that I'm a father. There's only one woman I'm a father to. So that's a completely unique relationship. If I'm in the grocery store and the checkout person's the same age as my daughter, it's still not my daughter, right? So that is the truth. Oh, this woman's the same age as my daughter, but not my daughter. So the relationship is completely different. It's arising out of the moment, but what's correct for me? Oh, just pay for the groceries and head out. It's so simple. It's like too simple. Then the function appears, paying for the groceries, or the function of visiting the daughter, catching up, getting to know, checking in, helping each other. So moment by moment by moment, everything is changing, but moment by moment, there's a situation, it's true, and then there's a function arising out of conditions. So the Heart Sutra talks about this in a kind of complete way. The Diamond Sutra talks about it in a kind of halfway point. It's a pretty complicated sutra. But the main point is we have impermanence. It makes everything possible. Just to go back to my daughter as an example, at one point she was 2. So her 2-year-old body had to disappear for her to become 6. 6-year-olds are not possible, and then they disappear and become 14. Then they disappear and become 25. So at first, when we're confronted with, oh God, everything's changing, that's a drag. But then if we look a little more closely, oh, everything changing is what makes everything possible. It makes everything actually available. And if we can just be kind to our heart, it's okay to grieve the losses of the 2-year-old, the loss of the 6-year-old, the loss of the 25-year-old. Then if we do that freely and let that go, then we're open and ready and sensitive. The 54-year-old daughter. What a delight. Only possible by losing all those other ages of a daughter, right? So everything is like this. And we can help ourselves just by paying attention. We don't push anything down. And then everything that appears, whether it's a karmic habit, whether it's a trauma from when we're younger, whether it's a habit of being impatient or a habit of being disorganized, doesn't matter. Zen practice welcomes all of it in, looks at it, and attains it. Doesn't try to make it go away, but looks deeply into it. Then we can use our impatience to help this world, or we can use our patience to help this world. We can use our disorganization to help this world, or we can use how organized we are to help this world. From a Zen point of view, there's no good or bad. There's no opposites thinking. This is all before thinking arises. It's don't know.
Hi, I'm Brad with Long Beach Meditation. Your gracious generosity makes this programming possible. If you found this video to be of value, please consider making a donation here. If you'd like to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to stay up to date with Long Beach Meditation, click here to subscribe. Thank you.